All right, today's daf is daf Yud Tes. We are going to begin on daf Yud Tes on Aleph Boy Devashi. You got it? Boy Devashi. It's 4 lines from the top. Boy Devashi. Boy Devashi asked the Shaila like this. We learned yesterday by the nezik of traders, by pebbles, you pay a chatzi nezik. So the question was, yesh shine l'traders l'revi nezik. He asked the Shaila like this. Is there, let's say, a deviation from a typical behavior with regards to the traders, which is the propelling pebbles? Now, if there's a shine l'traders, so it comes out that if the animal propelled pebbles, not in a typical way, in a not a typical manner, so then, if traders is chatzi nezek, the animal, when he's trampling and he shoots out pebbles, it's a chatzi nezek. So maybe when it's the zeshina, it's not typical. Maybe it's the revi nezek. It's only 1/4 of the damage, which would be half of the payment for damage caused by the pebbles. Or ein shina the traders revi nezek. Or maybe halachically, there's no shina, there's no deviation from the typical behavior with regards to damage, with regards to the traders, the propelling pebbles. So now it will come out that the owner, and the owner would be chayav to pay only 1/4 of the damage, and therefore, even in not a typical case, the owner pays the standard half damage. So that's the shaila. Yeshina the traders, and therefore would be the revi nezek. When it comes to traders, there's no shine, and they'll have to pay a chatzi nezek. That was Rashi Shaila. So the Gemara answers Tishrei midid Rava. So Rava, so the Gemara says this: Tishrei midid Rava. You can answer Rashi Shaila from Rava's. The boy Rava himself asked the question. And we learned this yesterday. Yesh hadal l'tzeres. Is there a muad by pebbles or ain't hadal l'tzeres? Or when it comes to pebbles, we don't say there's a muad. Now, based on the Shaila that Rava asked. You can learn from here that there's no shine when it comes to tzeres. What was the shaila? Do I say by tzeres muad or not muad? So what do we see from here? We see that there's no shine at all. So it comes out that its owner is going to be chayiv. So like this. So now if you say,
but if you're familiar, what happened?
The animal.
What was something they caused? What did they do?
The animal was walking and shoots out pebbles, and it caused the damage. Right?
What's the value to pay at the DNA?
Because is it a mood or not? If it's no, Chati nezek. Right? Correct. That's the Gemara's question. That's exactly Rashi Shaila. Do I say nezek Chati nezek is always with a shina and shina or not?
Did he say muad? Then he had to pay.
So one says we didn't get to that. So now the question is, if I say by tzeres it's Chati nezek, if it's a shinoi in the damage of Chati nezek, is it a revi or not? So the Gemara says, learn from Rava. Rava asked yesterday, is there a muad by tzeres or not? So based on this, you can learn from here that there's no significance to a shinoi from the typical behavior with regards to tzeres propelled by animals. So resulting in its owners being chayiv a revi, as where that case, a muad will lead to the animal's owner chayiv to pay half of the damage. I don't. What was the little quarter? Nothing to do. So the Gemara says no. Dilma Rava, perhaps Rava stated the shaila like this: in Tim Sulayim Bava Kamah. If you say, in other words, in Tim Sulayim Ein Shinai, even if you want to say that there's no deviation, there's no shinai, and therefore, if there's no shinai, so you have to pay always a chatzi nezek. The question is, yesh hadar. Is there haida or not? Is there a muad or not? So let's just take on, and by take on we only go to chumrah. Okay, next question. Boy, the Vasti asked another shaila with regards to the tzeres, with regards to the pebbles. Now, according to Sumchas, that one pays the full cost of the damage. According to Sumchas, is the shita, we have this yesterday, that he has to pay the full cost of the damage in the case of tzeres. The shaila is, what's the halacha with regards to damage caused by a force, generated by the animal's action? So what happened? There's an animal, And that's what pebbles. It's the animal caused the koyach. It's like a ripple effect. Caused the koyach here, and this koyach now shot this. So it's like he hits this hits this, and this now causes the damage. A chain reaction. So now the question is, when you have the koyach according to Simchas, do I say koyach dami alai? Is the status of the secondary force, like the damage caused by a force generated by its action, in which case the owner would be chayiv, or is the status not like the damage caused by a force generated by its actions? That's the shaila. So the Gemara says like this, and the Gemara elaborates. Mi gemir halacha, did Sumchas learn this, that one pace, half the damage caused by the tzeres? Is that a halacha meshim Sinai umuki lo bekoyach keiche? And he interprets the Meseras applying to a case where the damage was caused by a force generated by the action of the animal. Now, and therefore, in a typical case of damage caused by pebble, which is an example of force generated by the action of the animal, the owner has to pay a chatzin nezek. Why? Because it's a tulda of regel. Or do I say lo yimer halacha klal? Or no, he did not learn the halacha from a serious regards to all, and therefore, even in a case where the damage was caused by a force generated by the action of the animal, the owner pays the full cost of the damage, as this is a tulda of regel.
I think kind of crazy even the fire. You start a fire.
It could be a lot of things.
Fire in barn, you have for that. It's a hit too. I mean, it's inevitable that if you throw a pebble or something, be a force going forward, plowing into something and causing a horrible effect.
Yeah. So my answer is teku. Okay, next case. If the animal was kicking while it was walking, either it was kicking while it was walking, or it occurred that pebbles were like, and it wasn't the kabuna, it was like propelled from under his feet, and now, what happened? The animal is kicking, or the animal's walking, and there's pebbles under his feet, and what happened? And started shooting, and it broke pebbles. So the owner of the animal pays half of the damage. Now, so what was the shaila? So now the shaila was asked before the chachamim with regards to what case is the Tana of the Mishnah speaking to. Again, he was kicking, or it was shooting pebbles from under his feet, and it broke kalim, so he pays the chatzin esek. So what is that case talking about? So the Gemara now explains. Is the Tana speaking about a case of the animal was hoisim etes v'zika b'biluta? What do we mean kicking? Was it kicking and caused damage directly with its kick? So if it caused mamish, there was a kick of the animal, and that kick of the animal caused the damage, so that will be exactly. It's a told mamish of keren, which is goring. So this hoisim etes v'zika b'biluta. So if it was kicking, if it was kicking and caused directly its kick, which will be, we say, a tulda of keren, or the animal was walking and propelled pebbles in a normal way, so then the halacha is mishal and chatzin nezek. He pays a half of the damage. And this will be according, the Mishnah will be according to the opinion of the Chachamim, that half chatzin nezek is paid by the damage caused by pebbles. Or the question is, or perhaps if the animal was kicking and caused damage directly with its kick, or the animal propelled pebbles due to its kick and the pebbles caused damage, and the owner of the animal pays half of the damage. So then you can learn from here, but if the animal propelled pebbles as it's walking in a typical manner, then Rasham Nezek Shalim. Then what happened to her? Do I say that? So what's the question? So the Gemara says, do I say that it damaged with a kick or pebbles normally? So then that will come out that he pays a chatzin nezek. Then it's chachamim. Or pshat haisim avayates that it was kicking with its feet. Or tzeres machmas biut. Or let's say the animal propelled pebbles due to its kick and the pebbles caused damage. So he pays chatzin nezek because that's not the normal way. But if the animal propelled as it was walking in a typical manner, then it would be Mishal Nezek Shalom. And who would that be? Kesumkas. So where it says, Toshma Meseifa, let us learn from the Seifa, Dorsan Akli Ushvartit. And if the animal, let's say, trotted upon a keli and broke it, and then we had this the other day, and then a shard of the vessels now, but Nofal Shever Akli Ushvartit. So what happened there? An animal was stepping on a keli and broke it. The shard of that keli fell upon a second keli, and Ushvartit, and now broke the second keli. So here's keli, let's say, here's keli number 1. The animal went ahead. Here broke this keli, so now it's smashed. Yeah, exactly. This shard now broke this keli. So now what's the halacha? So dorsal akli ushvartoi, and then v'nofal hashever akli after ushvartoi. So now this shard went on this keli and broke the second keli. So the halacha is like this: al harishoim shalom nezek shalom. On the first, like you gave the example with a car, like what do you call it when there's a lot of pileup? Yes. So the owner now pays the nezek shalom on the first one because the animal went ahead and kicked and caused the direct damage. And when the keli now damages the first keli, which was damaged by the shade or the animal, caused a chain reaction and broke the second keli, the halacha is chatzines. Now, now that's what the Brisa says. Now, if that's what the Mishnah says. Now, if the Tana is sochas, Simchas does not hold of half of the damage caused by pebbles. He always holds that it's a nezek shalim. Now, if you're going to say like this, the Mishnah is the Shita Sumchas, and it can be understood as a Rishoin, the first keli, concerning which the owner of the animal pays nezek shalim, Rishon Lataza, is the first keli damaged following the propelling of the shards from the keli upon which the animal stepped. V'asheni, and therefore the second keli was broken. The second keli, which the owner of the animal pays chatzin nezek, sheni latoza, is the second keli following the propelling of shards from the vessel which the animal stepped on, which would be a third keli that was broken by the shards of the second keli. Maybe that's what it means. Rishon means rishon latoza, sheni latoza, and the reason the difference is v'shani le l'sumches. And according to Sumchas, there's a big difference between damage caused by a force generated by the action of the animal. So here the animal broke this, which caused to break this. That is the pain as a shalom. The damage caused by a force generated by a force by its actions. So that makes sense that it only pays half the damage. So I can say that even Sumchas. Yeah. So the Gemara says, "How the boy Ravashi?" So what's the Shiloh Ravashi? The Rashi Shiloh is like this: do I say that one pays a nezek shalom in the case of propelled pebbles, which Allah with regards caused by a damage caused by a force generated by an animal's action? So, is the status of the secondary force like the damage caused by a force generated by his action? In which case, the owner is chayiv. Or is the status not like the damage caused by a force generated by his actions? So, Tifshin. So the Gemara says, so what's the shaila? Let him resolve that the status is not like that of the damage caused by a force generated by its actions. So my answer says, Rashi really will interpret the opinion like the Chachamim, that one pays half the damage, has the cost of the damage in the case of Tzeredis. Rashi Kirabbanam. And he raises the trial. If the animal was kicking and caused damage directly with his kick, now, if it was kicking and caused damage directly with its kick, which would be a tolda of keren, or if the animal was walking and propelled pebbles in a typical manner, so then the owner has to pay half the damage. Now, we can learn from here, but if the pebbles were propelled due to a kick, the owner pays only a quarter of the damage, and what can come out of the yeshine? There is halachically yeshine from a typical behavior with regards to tziris, which will result that the owner only pays a quarter. Or perhaps, or if the animal was kicking and caused damage directly with a kick, or if the animal repelled pebbles due to its kick, and the pebbles caused damage, so then Chatzi Nezek, does the owner pay Chatzi Nezek and Ve'eshine? My answers take Uvaikir, we go to Chum. Not a question. Yeah, very, very technical. Rabbi Abba Bar Membo raised the shaila before the Rabbi. And some say it was before the Bechia. If the animal was walking in a place, where it is impossible for it to walk without propelling pebbles, it's going in a place. It's like a psikration. It's impossible for the pebbles not to shoot out. That's it. And what happened? It kicked and propelled pebbles and caused damage. What's Allah? What's Allah? Do I say that since it's impossible for it to walk without propelling pebbles, so propelling pebbles is a normal manner in that situation, and in the halacha in that case would be the same as any case of tzeres. Or do I say or perhaps since now in any event the pebbles were propelled due to a kick, it's different. So now how does it work? If it's anyways going to shoot out, so by kicking you didn't really accomplish anything.
Go earth over here. Go regular earth. Or you kicked and you blame for kicking.
Yeah, but does the kick do anything? Or anyways the pebbles would fly. Right. That's the shaila. What happened? It's a place that anyways matezes. So what happened? But the animal who beat it, he went ahead and kicked and he damaged. So what I would say, anyways would have damaged. So now it's good. He has to pay Mishalim Nezek Shalim. Or at the end of the day, or to say, no, in any event, the fact is the pebbles were propelled due to the kick. Let's just take we go to Chum.
If the kick, if they had another.
And it's talking about. The kick is the full thing, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Way.
So then Nachatzin again. I think I said the opposite, but yeah, you're right. Okay. Weiter. Boy, Mine, Rabbi Yirmiyah has to shaila before Rabbi Zeda. Hoysam aleches b'reshus harabim. If an animal is walking in Reshus harabim, ubieta the tiz of it kicked and propelled pebbles and caused the damage. Mal, what's the halacha? The kedem midamina lei v'chayavus. Do we liken the damage of this instance to keren, to goring, since the action was performed with kavan? As we say, keren is kavanos elazik, and therefore the owner should be chayit, even though the incident transpired in Reshus harabim. So usually saying in Reshus harabim is pater. But if we say that there's goring, there's a keren, there's keren, there's goring, so then the owner is chayav for goring. So since the animal was walking Reshus harabim and it kicked, so maybe that's like keren. And we don't know. No. The fact is, it's like the subcategory of trampling, and a subcategory of trampling in Reshus harabim is ptura. So related mistabra told the regel. It makes sense. There's a subcategory of regel and not keren. Now, Rabbi Yirmiyah continued and asked Rabbi Zera another shaila. If an animal propelled pebbles in the Reshus harabim, it's in Reshus harabim, it shoots pebbles, and where does it go? It's kicked and it flew under and went into the Reshus harabim. Mao, what's the halacha? So Rabbi Zera said to him, and he gave a famous terminology when it comes to El Shabbos. Akira inkan, there's no lifting here, right? So he didn't have an akira and an apa. So he says there's no lifting here, and anachin inkan, there's no placing here. Sorry. Akira inkan, no, it's a question. Akira inkan, anachin ishkan, there's no akira. So there's anacha, since the animal propelled the pebbles. In Reshus harabim, the owner is putter from liability of any damage that it causes. The fact that the damage occurred on Reshus harabim, Reshus harabim is not relevant. He made the damage in Reshus harabim. In Reshus harabim, he's putter. I went ahead and flee into the Reshus harabim. I was prone. Go bring that in American court. Svara. Okay. Esri. Rabbi Yirmiyah raised the shaila line.
The lawyer.
That's the Gemara. Esri. Rabbi Yirmiyah raised an objection to Rabbi Zera's first statement that one is exempt from liability for one's animals for propelling pebbles in a Reshus harabim because it's classified as a tulda of regel. Now he said it's a shaila from Rabbi. If an animal is walking along the way and it propelled pebbles, it's walking on the way, whether it's in a Reshus harabim is chayv. So the Gemara says, my lav, must be a case where the pebbles were propelled in my lav, it is a Reshus harabim, It must be a case where the pebbles were propelled in Rishus Harabim and damaged Rishus Harabim. So Rav Zera says, light. It's not a no. It is Rishus Harabim. It propelled the pebbles in Rishus Harabim. And it caused damage in Rishus Yachid. So Rabbi asked, but you just said Akina Kan Anocha Yishkan? So there's nothing. So I'm like, how did it be? I retract my previous statement, as there's proof from the Brisa that there is a Chiyuv in that case.
For Shasiyan.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So now, Isvei, Rabbi raised an objection to Rav Zera's first statement from the Mishnah. The animal stepped upon a keli and broke it, and then that shard of the vessel, that keli went and broke something else. For the first one, he has to pay nezek shalom because it was direct damage. And so when the animal stepped on the kli and broke it, the owner of the animal has to pay nezek shalom. If this now went ahead and broke a second keli, so then the owner has to pay a chatzi nezek. We learned the med. When does this apply? But it's nizek. If it happened in the Rishus HaNizek, the first one be putter and the last one be chayiv. Now, my love must be the case of a tisa Rishus HaRabim, which is mashma that one does not pay damage caused by pebbles in Rishus HaRabim. Where it says no, that's not the case. Rabbi Zera said, like, talking about where the animal propelled the pebbles in the Rishus HaRabim, caused damage in the Rishus HaYachid. So I'm like, how did it be? I retract my previous statement. Rabbi Yirmiyah now asked the Shaila, Rabbi Zera's statement, is this really so? Is the owner of the animal putter from liability for pebbles propelled by his animal in or Rishus HaRabim? That's not true. Daf-yomi Testament based. Rabbi Yiflan, the editor of Rabbi Yiflan, said, Ein chatzi nezek cholel Rishus HaRabim. A payment of half cost of damage is not differentiated between Rishus HaRabim, as there's no exemption from payment, neither for damage in a private domain and not in a public domain. So what does that mean? That it must be that it was shooting from Rishus HaRabim and damage Rishus HaRabim. It says it is Rishus HaRabim and Rishus HaYachid. I already retract that. Whether Rabbi Yiflan say this is Aken. It's talking about in the category of goring, but now with regards to the case of the pebbles, for which one is putter in the Rishus HaRabim. And Rabbi sat in the antechamber of Rabbi Nasi. Nafag Nilsa b'meinayu, a manner emerged from amongst them, and one of them had a shaila. Tishkishab is nova. If the animal swung its tail and thereby caused damage. So what's the halacha? Amalei idach. So what happened? So yes, if an animal is waving his tail, and the owner with all,
they expect to hold the tail and walk.
I'm just go back. The animal now swung its tail, and thereby caused damage. So what's the halacha? So Amalei idach. The chachal he said to him, must the animal grasp his tail and walk to prevent the animal from causing damage? Since this is the typical behavior of the animal, the owner should be put there from liability. Because this is what it does. It waves his tail. So the Gemara asks, Nami? If so, with regard to the damage of Keren, let too. Let us just say, does the owner have to grasp his horn and walk to prevent the animal from causing damage? Nevertheless, the halacha is that the owner is chayav for damage in the category of Keren. The Gemara says, how can you compare these cases? Keren lav orcho. Damage in the category of goring is not caused in the course of a typical behavior of the animal. So the owner is required to prevent his animal from causing damage in that manner. Orcha. This damage caused by the swinging of his animal's tail is caused in the course of a typical behavior. One cannot hold the owner responsible for all animals' normal behavior. In other words, by Keren, that's not normal. By waving,
but the tail never need to be high. No, it should be
by putter, because it's normal. It's a normal thing. So the Gemara says, and since this is a typical behavior, what's the shaila over here? Obviously, one has no chiyuv for the damage caused by a typical behavior of the animal in the Rishus HaRabim. Gemara says, he raised the shaila with regards to an excessive tail swinging. In other words, Not that he's just doing a svidrai, he's going like crazy. Excessive tailing swinging, is that considered typical behavior or not? Boy, the Rashi asked the kishkish of amma, so what if he swings with his amma? So what's the halacha? Do we say it's like goring? And keren, is it like goring? And keren lav yisuk takivlei. Is it not so in the case of goring that the animals yitzahara kivyochel overcame and caused it to gore? So to here in the case of the amma, the same thing. The animals like inclination overcame and caused it to damage. Are you good or perhaps no? The cases are very different. Keren kavanos elazar keren. It's the kavanos is the damage. It's a teiko. Yeah, a lot of the chumras over here. Okay, the Mishnah taught this. Chickens are deemed a mu'id with regards to walking in their typical manner and breaking objects. In other words, and the Mishnah said, if there was a string, here's your chicken, and there was a string tied to the chicken's leg, and now and it broke a keli. So if there was a string tied to the chicken's leg, or it broke a keli, and it broke a keli, or if the chicken was hopping in a not a normal manner and broke a keli, so the halacha is the owner pays chatzi nezek on the damage. When it says lo yishanu el shenik shmeilov, they taught that one pays half the damage only in a case where the string was tied to the leg of the chicken on its own. In other words, the string became entangled on the leg of the chicken without the involvement of the owner, and an item was broken by the string. But if the person tied the string to the chicken, then chayiv is chayiv to pay the nezek shalom, as a string is the category of a bait. So the Gemara says, Nik shemei leman chayiv. If the string was tied on his own, who's chayiv to pay the chatzi nezek? Ilema bal hadlil. If you say it's the owner of the string who pays, why? Because the damage was caused by the string. Hey chidami, what are the circumstances? If it's the case where the owner of the string concealed the string in a secure place, and the chicken now became entangled, then there's some mamish onos. Then it's beyond his control, and then onos is one patre. If he did not conceal it and instead left it exposed where it could have been entangled in the feet of the passing of the chicken, then he's mamash b'sheya, and as though he actually tied the string of the chicken. So who are you going to say? The case of the Mishnah is one where the owner of the string concealed it, and he's pater from chiyuv. What means that Baal Tanagal, that the owner of the chicken is chayiv. So, here to the Shaila is Ma'ishtav Kulin Ezek delay. What's the difference here in the case that one is not chayiv to pay the full damage because the pasuk says Ki yiftach ish be'er shared pit. It says if a man shall open a pit or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, yeah, so he pays the damage. Now, well, shared be'er, it's not written if an ox shall open a pit. So this is mashma that if an ox opens a pit, the owner of the ox is pater from chiyuv. Chatzin ezek nami. So with regard to the payment of half the cost of the damage as well, ishbor the share bear. If a man shall open and it's not written if the ox shall open a pit. Rather, ela mastisen ba'adiyeh. Rather, the case of the Mishnah is one where the chicken moved the string and thereby caused the damage. Since the chicken did not cause damage with his body, the owner pays half the cost of the damage as it does by shears. And when Rav Huna gives the distinction between whether the string was tied on its own or by a person was stated, stated within the general sense, and now with regards to the halacha of the Mishnah. The Lil Hefker, with regard to the owner of the string tied to the leg of the chicken, it was tied by itself, and it'll be chayiv. So but this is due to the fact that although the string is not stationary, as in the standard case of a bear, it's example of his pit that rolled at the feet of a person and at the hooves of the animal. And so too, this is a tulda of bear, which will be chayiv.